Hello guys, so I won't want this video to be very long. We just start the class, and maybe during the class I'll be making some explanation. Anyone that has any issue, you can solve it out. So the first thing is to click on your Excel app, which is Microsoft Excel, and we are going to click on this the first blank workbook here. So that's the first we are going to be clicking on. You double click, so it's going to open an interface of this. So here we want to start making the necessary entries. But before we can do that, we need to understand what exactly this Microsoft Excel is. And during the class, or maybe I will make some voice notes, or maybe some written text about what it is used for. So this first one we are seeing here, we have file, we have the home, we have the insert, we have the page. This thing here, everything there is called what the Robin page. And we are going to start with the first we are going to do is to, as I said, I don't want this video to be very long, because WhatsApp has their own what's it called, it has its own maximum file you can send, MB. So the first we are going to do is to rename the sheet. When you look at the left, the down left of your screen, you see sheet 1. So we are going to rename that sheet into chart of account. I believe I'm talking to students here, or even working class, so I want to believe we know what chart of account is. But during the class I will try to explain what that is actually. Okay, so chart of accounts, so that's for them. We'll click on what, enter. So we have created that. So what we want to do is we want to identify the types of accounts we have. Okay, we are talking about accounting. So how many types of account do we have? We actually have about 5 of them. So we have assets, we have liability, we have expense, we have revenue, before revenue we have what's it called, equity, then we have revenue. So these are accounts. So let me name it here as accounts. So accounts. Okay, so the types of accounts. Then so the next one is to subcategorize these accounts. So we know that assets is into two sides. We have the current assets. Okay, let me put this into short. So current assets, we have the fixed assets. Then the same thing also applies to, fixed assets. So the same thing also applies to liability. Liability is also into two forms. You have the current liability, okay. Then we also have what, fixed liability, right? So fixed liability. Then we have our expense account. Expense is just one, okay, expense. Then we have equity is also one, okay, equity. Then revenue is into two. Revenue we have revenue, we have the contra. Before we go to contra, we have two types of revenue, which the first one is what, the normal revenue. That is revenue. I will explain what contra revenue is and what revenue is. Then we also have the contra revenue. So that's that. Then when you look at this contra revenue, you see that it enters into the next page. So what you can do is to come to this our numbers here. We are going to double click. Okay, so that's that. Then also in accounts, the same thing, also double click. Okay, so this account now we are going to name it what, sub accounts. Let me put in the club, sub accounts. Now we want to start identifying, and we want to start imputing the account details. So we need to create another tab or another sheet. So click on this plus button. Click on the plus button. We have sheet number 2. So this sheet we are also going to rename it. Double click on the sheet. We are going to rename it, and we are going to call it what? We are going to call it journal, or let's say general journal. So during the course of the lecture, I'll also tell us what general journal is and the types of journals we have. So general journals is just used in recording all forms of transaction, either the one that is made on credit, the one that is made with cash and bank, or whatever it is. So that is what general journal is. We know that we don't record some form of credit purchase of some assets. We don't record them under sales ledger and other forms of ledger. We record them on what? Under journal, general journal. So that's why we are going to be using general journal here. So here is now another sheet. This one is a plain sheet compared to the first one that we created, which is the chart of account. So this one has some figures there. Why this one? Why the general journal has nothing? So in general journal, what are the headings in general journal? We have our dates, right? We have dates. Sorry, let me make it into black. We have dates. We have description, right? Description. These are what transpired, what transaction it is. Then we also have the types of account it is. Okay. Then we have the debits. We have credit. So these are the headings that we are going to be making use of in this our account here. Okay. So now I'm coming, please. So the next thing I want us to do here is to make these headings, this date description. Sorry, the description is not showing properly. So let us just double click it. Okay, just like we did in chart of accounts. So we're going to double click. Sorry. So we have that. So I want to make this into table so that we can have drop downs. So to make it into a table, we go to our ribbon, which is the heading. We'll click on insights. So under insights we have pivot table, we have table. So I'm going to click on table. Okay, so I'm going to click on table. Yes. So now we have our table now. So this is the purpose of this class exactly, because we can also do the same thing under what's it called, under Word, but Excel has its own format, and everything is kind of professional. So the next thing we want to do is to understand. We are going to create, as I said before, that I'll be using my own company for example, just to put in the transactions or the entries. Okay, so let's continue editing. You say we have what? Credit. Okay, credit of what? Credit sale. Credit sale. Credit sale to Mr. Taiwo. Mr. Taiwo. Mr. Taiwo for of stock what's 280,000 on 24th 09 1445 enter. So what do you do first? We're not done here. Okay, control. Okay. So we have the date is what 24th 09 1445. We have what? Credit sale. So who are we selling to? The person we are selling to is what is receiving. So Mr. Taiwo's account will be what? Will be debited. Mr. Taiwo. Okay. His account will be what? Will be debited. So sorry. I'm sorry. What transaction took place? What? Credit sales. Credit sales. Then who are we selling to? We need a drop down. Before we do drop down, let's make this very short. So 280,000. Then we are going to write the same thing under the credit side. The stock is going to be credited. So therefore we are crediting our stock accounts. We have stock as drop down. Sorry. So we don't have Mr. Taiwo under our drop down here, our list. We don't have it. So what do we do again? Go back to our chart of accounts. Chart of accounts, under individual accounts, we are going to create Mr. Taiwo account. Mr. Taiwo. Sorry. Mr. Taiwo. So Mr. Taiwo is a current asset also, because we are selling to the person. So it's a current asset. Okay. So if you are buying from them, it becomes what? Current liability. Depends on the terms of transaction, if it's going to be current or it's going to be fixed. So Mr. Taiwo now is going to be debited. We now have Mr. Taiwo here. So let's go for credit sales or credit purchase. Okay, purchase building from Miss Taiwo. Sorry. Miss Taiwo. What? 10 million on credits on, let's say 27th. Okay, let's choose another date. That's, let's say on 12th 10 1445 Okay, so now we are having what's the date? 12 10 1445. So what happened? What a purchase. That is what credit purchase. You can say purchase of material. Purchase of material. Purchase of material. Okay. Then who are we purchasing from? So we are the one that is receiving. So it means we are going to what? We are going to debit our building, which is a fixed asset. We do have building under our drop down. So we'll come down here under individual account. We create what? Building. We are just going to do everything once. Building. Then who is the crediting? Mrs. Taiwo, right? Mrs. Taiwo. Then the building is what? Is fixed assets. The building fixed assets. So Mr. Taiwo, we are going to classify it under current assets. Mrs. Taiwo, we are going to classify under what? Current assets. Current liability rather. Current liability. It can also be a fixed liability, but under this case, let us just put it as what? As current liability. So now, our building is going to be debited. It's increasing in value. Credited with how much? Is debited with 10 million. Then we also have Miss Taiwo. Miss Taiwo's account will be credited with 10 million. Purchase of material. Dates. So I hope we are getting this clear. So what again do we need? Okay, let's say we sell on credit to someone. So let's say Mr. Taiwo paid his account. Mr. Taiwo paid some of his accounts. Mr. Taiwo pays how much do you buy from Mr. Taiwo? Okay, we sold to him one. Let's say he paid 200,000. Okay, 200,000 on 15th of 15th 10 1445 AH. So Mr. Taiwo okay, yes. Then let's just enter everything together. They also paid Miss Taiwo account in full on 28 10 1445 AH. So we have the first date is what? Is 15th 10 1445. We have 15 10 1445. What happened on 15 10 45? So what? Payments from Mr. Taiwo. So receive. Let's say we receive cash. Okay, let's not class that. Let's make it Mrs. Okay, let's put it as his payments of payments from Mr. Taiwo, but let's not put that. The payment of debts of credit sales. It has a term in accounting, but because we're all here, we're not all accountants. They just use anything that can suit. Okay, so we now have what Mr. Taiwo account is going to be credited. Okay, why our cash is going to be debited. So under our drop down, we have our cash already. So we don't need to go to chart of accounts. We have our cash. Then we also have Mr. Taiwo. Okay, Mr. Taiwo. We also have Mr. Taiwo. So which is paying his accounts? Mr. Taiwo. Why? Mr. Taiwo. So how much was paid? He pays what? 200,000 naira. So it means there is still an outstanding of how much? Of 80k. because we sold to him what 280,000 naira worth of goods or stock. So okay, why on 28th rather 28th then 14:45 we paid Mr. Taiwo, we paid in full. So paid or payments for material. Who adds the transaction? So we are going to credit. So we are going to debit what Mrs. Taiwo, because we purchased from her on credit before of goods worth 100,000, right? 10 million, which is land. So we are going to credit our cash or bank. But in this case, let us credit our bank, because we don't have much on our cash. Okay, so we have a drop down of what's it called, bank. Where is it? Bank. Okay, so let's say this is all for now. Let's say this is all so that we can get to practice and we'll continue next time. So okay, so I want to move all these I want to move them to the back. So let me do this like this. Okay, so it's okay. So so that it can look up professional. Okay, so these are the whole transaction under it. Let me do this practical work. Okay, practice. Okay, let's say what is question, or let's say transactions. Okay, so I think let's change it. Let's make it bold. Where's my home page? Let's increase it. Okay, so I think that's okay. So we now have this, our transaction, and our entries. So let's pause here for now.